In the sport of softball, the Gillies Shield is the highlight of the national calendar, where Australia's best female softballers represent their state or territory. It is the pinnacle of competition in the women's game. Today, you've got the best seat in the house as New South Wales and Queensland do battle for the sport's biggest prize at the Blacktown International Sports Park. Our coverage proudly presented by Softball Australia, the Australian Sports Commission and Softball BatterUp. Step up to the plate, go to softballbatterup.com.au.
Tremendous to have your company on Fox Sports right around Australia this afternoon on a glorious day in Sydney's west, not a cloud in the sky here at Blacktown International Sports Park. My name's DRURY Forbes and welcome to the Australian Open's Women's Softball Championship. Also an historic occasion today too, as it marks the first time in over a decade that domestic Australian softball has been broadcast nationally. And we're joined now by lead commentator who's going to bring you all the action this afternoon, Justin Nelson. Justin, let me ask you, how excited are you to be here today, particularly for a tournament that goes all the way back to 1947?
Yeah, Drury, absolutely, and you touched on it in the opener. Fantastic weather, well done to Sydney, turned it on. It's been a great week, huge competition, and the best two teams have made it through, and that's the most important thing. We're going to see the New South Wales FIRESTARS, the Queensland Heat in action, and the Gillies Shield. They've won 17 each, so whoever wins today goes up one notch.
Absolutely, bragging rights on the line. You mentioned the Gillies Shield, of course, named after the great Mac Gilly. Also hugely important today, being a selection trial for the upcoming World Championships.
Yeah, it is. It's the last event that the national selectors get the chance to have a look at these players. Of course, the World Championships coming up in August in the Netherlands, and cream of the crop in this game. We've got some absolute beauties in action today, and I think the national selectors, they've got the job ahead of them.
They certainly do. There'll be plenty of talent on display this afternoon. Speaking of talent, earlier today the under-17s were in action in their final, and once again, Justin, a dominant display by New South Wales.
They were great, the under-17s. They went through the whole competition unbeaten, got through to the final, won 4-0 over Victoria. Well done to Victoria on getting there. They got through in a tiebreaker innings to come up against New South Wales, but again, the best team got through, won the title. Well done.
Well, we turn our attention now to the main event as we edge closer and closer to finding out who'll be crowned champions of the Australian Open's Women's Softball Championship. And there's certainly none better to ask than Olympian and former player herself, Fiona Crawford. Fiona, thank you so much for joining us. Describe the magnitude, the importance of this event here today and what it would mean to the players to take home the Gillies Shield.
Well, the Gillies Shield is really the pinnacle of our sport in this country. I think it stems back from the history, as you said earlier, stems all the way back to 1947, and these two teams that have made the final, New South Wales and Queensland, have got a fabulous rivalry which dates back way into the 60s. So they're certainly mates off the field, but they'll all be going for bragging rights for this one.
There's certainly a lot of pressure on the players who are about to take their places as we count down to the first pitch. What do you think the captains would be saying to their players before the first pitch, and what would the players be feeling?
Certainly there'll be some butterflies, that's absolutely the case. I think the captains would really be geeing these girls up, but they really wouldn't need all that much. I mean, this is the game that they all play for. It's the final of the Gillies Shield. They've trained long and hard for this, so softball's really the heptathlon of team sports. So they train to be agile, they train to be powerful, they train to be fast, they train to be strong, and they also have to perform under pressure both offensively and defensively. It all comes down to the final though.
Which players from each team should we particularly pay close attention to this afternoon?
They're all tremendous athletes. I think certainly for the Heat, though, I'd be looking at their catcher, JODIE Bowering, ex-Olympian. She's a really consistent and solid performer, so certainly look out for JODIE behind the plate. They've got a fabulous pitching combination in SANDRA, HOLDEN and Joss McCallum, so they offer a really good matchup there. For the New South Wales FIRESTARS, they've got some really great upcoming players coming through. Rachel Lack and TSITSIKRONIS in particular have had tremendous tournaments so far. I certainly don't think you can go past their captain, though, in Stacey Porter. She is an outstanding athlete, and she is regarded as one of the best players to have ever played this game. She is a game changer.
Yes, certainly. There's sure to be plenty of game changers out there today. As we have a look at the two lineups, we'll start with the New South Wales FIRESTARS. And in the battery, it's Parnaby throwing to TSITSIKRONIS, Miller, McManus and Lack at the bases. Stacey Porter is the captain. She'll be at shortstop. Brooker, Poole and POBJIE in the outfield. The designated player is Ellen Roberts and they're coached by Kerry Porter. Earlier, I caught up with Stacey Porter and here are her thoughts leading into the match.
It's good to have the morning off and have a bit of a sleep in. It was an early get up for those Queenslanders this morning and take our time and relax a little bit today. But it's also nice to get a feel for the game, and I'm sure they would have had a tough outing against WA this morning. They come from behind. They had some good performances by a few of their players, so it's nice to get on a bit of a roll, but I'm hoping the advantage today is the sleep in.
Let's have a look at the Queensland Heat lineup now. And we've got Holden as the pitcher, although we do expect to see McCallum a little later on perhaps. Bowering is the captain, she'll play catcher. Weber, Weaver and Sorensen in the bases. Speakman, Blackman, Wall, Thras, Stearns. Their coach is Fabian Barlow. And earlier we caught up with Jodie Bowering.
Look, we've been working really hard. It's a long season. It's 6 months of training, and this is what we're here for right now today. And we really want to bring the Gilly Shield home. We just missed out last year, and we do not want to repeat. So we're here to grab the shield today.
Well, we're not too far away now. Let's get down to business, and we'll start with the former Olympian. Fiona, what do you see as the key contributing factors to determining who wins this afternoon?
It's really whoever comes out of the gates the fastest and gets the runs on the board.
Justin, who's going to win and why?
Very hard to go past New South Wales. The FIRESTARS have been fantastic. I think 6-2.
Fiona?
New South Wales have just got too much form. I'm going for 4-zip.
All right, well, thank you to both of you, Fiona and Justin. And as they both make their way up to the commentary box, let's now take a look at the history of softball in Australia and this feature interview with Chet Gray.
The first official interstate softball carnival was held in 1947 and was organised by the president of Softball Queensland, Mac Gilly. And as a result, the competition now bears his name. Following the Atlanta Olympics in 1996, where Australia won a bronze medal, experts believed if Australia was to win a gold medal, a higher level of competition was needed and subsequently created. The first season of the Women's National League, otherwise known as the Gilly Shield and Australian Open Women's Championship, took place in 2007. This competition providing elite players from their respective state or territory with an opportunity to replicate the intense nature and demanding playing schedule of the World Championships. In recent seasons, Western Australia, the defending champion, has been dominant, winning 3 of the last 4 titles. It is Victoria, however, that has been the most successful at interstate competitions, winning 22 tournaments, followed by New South Wales and Queensland, equal with 17 championships. Softball participation is very much on the increase in Australia, and current Softball Australia's CEO, Chet Gray, also the former national coaching director, is a former baseball and softball player who grew up in California.
Well, I grew up like any normal USA kid out of California, wanting to play Little League Baseball in Williamsport in the grand final. Didn't quite make that one. However, I went on to play college at Cal Poly Pomona. Great coach there and a great program, which then gave me the opportunity to play a couple years in the minor leagues. I played for the Montreal Expos organization in the minor leagues, got as far as single A ball. Enjoyed the experience and then went in to coaching. So I had the opportunity to go back to my old college, and the coach actually invited me out to be one of the assistant coaches. So I did kind of my apprenticeship through the college system and then went on out on my own.
Chet Gray is a student of the game, and his passion is boundless in an effort to spread the gospel about softball. He says the uninitiated may be surprised with Australia's world standing in the game.
You know, that's a great story and probably one of the most unknown stories. Over the last 10 years, we've been ranked #1 in the world as a team sport, both our men and our women. Currently, all 4 of our national teams are ranked in the top 3. So Japan and the United States, with the population base and the softball that they play over there, can't even compare to that. With our population base, which is probably 1/8 of the rest of the world, we actually succeed very well. It's this thing about the Australian determination. It's in softball, it's in sports in general. But we've won a silver medal at the 2004 Athens Olympic Game with our women. And in recent times, our men went from about 10th in the world, moved up the rankings over about a 10-year period, and they finished with a world championship in 2009. Our under-19 boys won 3 consecutive gold medals over the last 16 years. And our under-19 women have just finished with a bronze medal at the last World Championship. Pretty successful. I think we're probably one of the most successful team sports in this country, but people don't know about it.
And it's certainly a sport, softball, which does encourage kids to get involved.
Yes, one of our primary focuses right now is, getting back to the kids, getting them involved. We have a national recruitment program called Softball BATTERUP that we've had out there for the last couple years. That's our what I call our showpiece right now. We want to get it back to every kid. We just believe the game is such a fun and exciting, but it also builds self-esteem in individuals, especially the young kids.
It's a different sport, softball. It's probably one of those sports where not a lot of people have played it, but what do you find people's reactions are when they do play softball for the first time?
I was thinking about this a while back and what makes it all happen. I think with softball, we can play it anywhere, anytime, any place, in any ability. So I can take someone in a wheelchair, I can do indoor, I can do on the beach. Softball is such the modified situation. We can modify the game to suit any area, any place, any time, and any ability. On top of it, the game itself is unique because I think people get a kick out of striking the bat and the ball. That's the unique aspect of it. The first time a young kid hits the ball, they're so excited. The self-esteem, their confidence just builds. And I think that's the kicker. It's just put a bat on the ball.
One of softball's greatest strengths in the present era is the fact that the game is being played in many schools across Australia. And the game's chief executive is confident the code is making progress.
Yes, one of the things we've had a proud history of is softball's been in the school system, strong and successful in the school system for the past 50 years. But recently, like all sports in this country, there's been a decline in the participation of sports. And it's not just softball, and we felt it as well. I mean, all sports have been feeling it. But what we're trying to do now is reinventing ourselves, and we're driving membership, and we're starting to grow. We've got, as I say, our ducks all lined up, and we're now ready to move forward and actually take this sport to the next level. And to see more and more of it on the television, as well as seeing more and more people playing it over the next decade.
31 glorious degrees here this afternoon in Sydney at the Blacktown International Sports Park. Hello and welcome as we present the highlights of the Gillies Shield Grand Final, and we're straight into it with Stacey Porter getting set to lead the way for New South Wales. Good afternoon too to dual Olympian Fiona Crawford.
Good afternoon, Justin.
And what a player to have first up at bat, Stacey Porter.
She's, as I said at the outset, an outstanding athlete and a tough batter to pitch to for Sandra Holden.
There's the first strike of the game. Michael Palmer also joining us in the commentary box today. No stranger to softball, of course. He's been around for years and years. Hello, Michael.
Yeah, Justin and Fiona, hello. Great day for it and a lovely piece out into left field.
Well, that's Stacey Porter's game all over. She is a cracking batter. Has a batting average of .564 in this event so far, and on-base average of 671, and that's what we've come to expect from her.
Interesting to see here whether coach Kerry Porter will put the bunt on Stacey McManus to move Stacey to second base.
McManus, good call. Straight away shaping up with the bunt. She scored 28 runs so far in this competition, McManus. Sandra Holden on the pitcher's mound, plenty of experience. Just inside with the ball.
And Fiona, as you were talking in the opener, obviously getting off to a good start is incredibly important. So New South Wales with a base runner on, potentially looking to bunt, get them into scoring position and get on the board.
Yep, absolutely critical that they move Stacey into a scoring position at second base.
Holden to McManus, and McManus bat on ball, and she's made first. There's an error there. I think Porter will be out though at second, and McManus continues to run in. Safe. Great work, Stacey McManus.
I think you might find there, Justin, that the catcher Jodie Bowering was caught possibly doing a bit of play watching there. Should have been backing up that throw at first base, which has allowed Stacey McManus to advance to second base. And whilst it may not seem much, extra bases are critical in preventing teams from scoring in a final at the Gilly Shield.
There's the dive, and there's the call. So McManus safe at second. Rachel Lack steps to the plate.
And effectively New South Wales got the result they wanted. They had a runner on first trying to get it to second. It turned out it was the batter at second base. So the error was pretty costly, and New South Wales are still in the position they want to be, a runner at second and one out.
Fiona, tell us a little bit about Rachel Lack. She'll go very close to picking up the Rookie of the Year award, I think.
I think she'll go very close, Justin. She's a fantastic athlete, making her debut, as you said, in the Gilly Shield this year. And it's a quantum leap, to be honest, moving from the 19s programs to the senior competition, and she has done a sterling job in doing so.
And has a habit of getting on base. Her on-base average is 600, second only to Stacey Porter. There's a fly ball out to centre field, and stepping underneath and taking the catch. Very, very well done out there. And McManus still on second. Jade Wall out at centre field, taking the catch. Another young gun for New South Wales, TAYLAH TSITSIKRONIS. Looks to have a very promising future.
Absolutely, Justin.
Holden picks it up easy out at first. Webber takes it, and that is it. New South Wales without a score in the first, and now we get the first chance to have a look at Queensland batting. Melinda Weaver first up for the Heat. Plenty of experience. KAIA Parnaby will be pitching for New South Wales. Melinda Weaver, 19 runs so far in this competition, and another player who gets on base regularly at 583. Played for the Aussie Spirit and won a bronze medal in 2012.
And what's also on offer with Melinda is she's got some wheels. So once she gets on base, she's a real threat to steal.
Weaver assessing. Having a look at Parnaby. Bat on ball. Straight through to Stacey Porter at shortstop, and to Monique Miller at first, and out. Brings CARMELLE Sorensen up to bat. Parnaby winds up. Good start. Sorensen, another player that's represented Australia at senior level, has a look. There's the second strike. And a good start by Parnaby.
Yeah, one of the really key strategies in softball is to get the ball in play, and you'll see the hitters do it a lot of different ways. You know, they'll be trying to hit the ball as far as they can, but then a lot of times running bunts, slapping the ball, just trying to get it on the ground and beat it out, and it didn't quite work that time. But you'll see quite a bit of that as we go through the game, the batter just trying to make contact.
Sorensen trying to get things underway for the Queensland Heat. Ready to launch into it. And she does. Gets it out and through Porter out to left field. BREE Brooker picks up. And there's a single for Sorensen. She's on first base. Now we all know this player, Jodie Bowering. Very decorated career. 2013 best batter at this event. Also MVP in 2009 and again in 2013, Fiona.
Just fouled that one back to the back net. Jodie will certainly be looking to move CARMELLE at least to second base to get that runner in a scoring position to bring up Stacey Webber.
And Bowring's yet another Aussie representative in this game. All up amongst the two named teams. 21 players have played either senior and or junior representative softball for their country. That's an amazing number.
3 balls, 1 stop.
Bowering. Has Sorensen on first, and again, another foul ball.
That's where KAIA Parnaby is so effective. She has a tremendous rise ball. When that ball coming up and in, particularly to a left-handed batter, it's very difficult to get out of the way, and you'll find that she'll get a lot of cheap strikes in batters just nicking the ball back to the back net.
Parnaby. And yet again, bat on ball for Bowering. One thing that's mentioned a lot with KAIA Parnaby is her variation, and that's what you're touching on, isn't it? She has fantastic variation.
She does, and particularly a left-hander. You know, there's very few of them, particularly in Australia. So she's tough to hit, particularly, 105 kilometres an hour. That's faster than what I drive around the street. So, that coming at at that sort of pace, it's difficult to pick balls and strikes and then try and get bat on the ball.
Well, at the moment, Jodie Bowering is certainly getting bat on ball. And this time, a swing and a miss. So Jodie Bowering exits. And it's going to bring in Stacey Weber. Absolutely can hit a ball, Stacey Weber. 11 runs in this competition so far, 16 RBIs. And she is a powerful, powerful player at bat. Has a look at the first. Here's Weber. And she's cracked that one. That's gone a long, long, long way and over. What a great start for Queensland. Stacey Weber all smiles as she rounds the bases. And what a terrific start for the Queensland Heat in this game. They are up and going. Stacey Weber cracking it over centre field, over the fence. Also gets Sorensen home. Here it is again. Look at the power behind that. Weber has launched it long and deep and over the fence. Great start.
Yeah, absolutely crushed it. And on the pitch before, they just missed up high for a strike, and then they came back down over the middle of the plate, just on the inside half, and she just turned on it and drove it out of the park.
Well, everyone expecting New South Wales to win, well, certainly start favourites. And Queensland have started in fantastic fashion, leading this one 2-0 thanks to Stacey Weber. Tara Speakman at bat at the moment. And all of a sudden, the pressure is firmly applied to the New South Wales FIRESTARS. What a great start. All smiles, Stacey Weber. And in fact, Drury Forbes has caught up with her right now. Let's go down and hear from Stacey Weber.
Yeah, thanks, guys. We're here in the Queensland dugout with home run hero Stacey Weber, first home run of the grand final. That was a massive one.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. I saw it low and I just went with it. It's my favourite pitch, so just went with it and got a lucky hit. Yeah.
So, you must be pretty happy to get your team off to such a great start.
Yeah, it's early days yet. They're a really good team, so, it's good to be on early.
Understandably very, very happy with her start, Stacey Weber. I like how she talked about a bit of luck, but gee, I tell you what, there was some class in that.
Didn't look like much luck to me. She got the pitch she wanted down and in, and absolutely hit it out of the ballpark. It was a fantastic start for Queensland.
Watching the highlights of the Gillies Shield, the grand final of the 2014 Women's Softball National Championship. And a great start by the Queensland Heat, and they're onto it again. Tara Speakman getting through. And, gee, I tell you what, they haven't done too much wrong to start this game, have they? That might be ERIN THRAS, actually. It is. Here's Tara Speakman stepping up. So ERIN THRAS is safe at first. And an error by Stacey Porter, I think. We don't often see that out at shortstop, do we?
No, we don't. That was a hard ball to field, but I think Stacey would expect to field those. She will certainly make up for it here, no doubt about it.
And she does, as Tara Speakman is out at first, and that brings a close to the first innings. And Queensland lead this one with 2 runs in the first. Stacey Weber, the early hero for the Queensland Heat. And what a great start for the crowd too. That will certainly get them up and enthused in this one. Here we go with the top of the second, and Monique Miller at bat for the FIRESTARS. They've got some work to do now, Michael.
Yeah, they really do. I mean, they're down by 2, obviously, early in the game, and Queensland looked really efficient in the batter's box there. You'll notice they were pulling a lot of balls, which means they're seeing them very well and very confident. New South Wales really need to step up now and make sure they get the right pitch, wait for it, and then hit it as hard as they can.
Here's Miller. She's hit it, and she's just got it through the gap. A nice single out to centre field. Jade Wall picks it up. And maybe that's the start for the FIRESTARS to answer the challenge as we see BREE Brooker at bat. Another left-hander. The FIRESTARS have got a couple of left-handers, haven't they?
They do have a couple of left-handers. Makes it much easier to drop a running bunt and get to first base, which is obviously what BREE Brooker's trying to do now.
Well, she did shape to bunt on that occasion. Brooker, let's see if she continues with that thought. Holden getting the signal. And there it is. There's the bunt. And, oh, another mistake. We've seen a couple of mistakes early, and I think we might see Brooker safe and Miller to third. Let's have a look at that again. Picked up, and there's the error. And all of a sudden, New South Wales are up and going. What a great game.
Well, we're here with Danica Howlett, battery coach and also an assistant coach with New South Wales. Not the ideal start.
No, not, but it's a 7-inning games and there's a long way to go. 21 outs and we've only done 3 of them, so it's always a challenge, and every team's going to have to battle right down to the last out of this game.
Spoken like a true coach. Alan Roberts now. Fantastic young player for the FIRESTARS and gets bat on ball, but it's a foul. Terrific all-rounder, Alan Roberts, isn't she? She can do everything.
She can. She's had a few seasons over in the States, and she's really come back a much better and much more mature player.
And she gets on this one, out to Speakman, throw to Stacey Webber, out at first. So Alan Roberts steps up for the first time and departs.
Yeah, that ball chopped over to shortstop really made it impossible for either of the runners to move up. She would have been looking to try and move that to the right side of the infield, but a very good out for Queensland.
Brooker on second at the moment, Miller on third, Sam Poole at bat, and finds a piece of it first up. So real chance here for the FIRESTARS to answer back. Queensland leading it 2-0. Great start in the first. There's a strike.
Sam will be looking to hit the ball deep into the outfield as a sacrifice fly to score those runners, but Sandra Holden will be looking to throw that ball down and make it difficult for Sam to do so.
Plenty of experience behind the arm of Sandra Holden. No doubt been in this position many, many times. Sam Poole with the question being asked of her at the moment, and a swing and a miss. And Sam Poole departs the scene. Still 2 players on base.
That's a big out for Sandra Holden. That's one of her strengths. She's just cool as a cucumber.
And she's having a good game so far. ASHLEE POBJIE is at bat. Brooker on second, Miller on third. POBJIE gets on base at 5:29. So she's no stranger to this environment. Low and away. Plenty of pressure now on ASHLEE POBJIE. So too Sandra Holden, and bat on ball. This should be an easy out. Weaver to Webber, out at first, and that brings a close to New South Wales' second inning. Queensland still have the upper advantage, Michael.
Yeah, they do. I mean, they obviously got the 2 runs, but the really impressive thing, I think, has been Sandra Holden pitching. Her control has been outstanding. When she's been pitching up, she's missed high, but when she's really wanted to hit the spots down low, she's been fantastic and really got some good ground balls and is in control so far.
And mentored by one of the great pitching coaches in Kelly Hardy.
Jade Wall steps up for the Queensland Heat. Terrific start. Wonderful, wonderful day out here at Blacktown. 31 degrees. You're watching the highlights of the 2014 Women's Softball National Championship. Of course, playing for the Gillies Shield. Both of these teams, as we said in the intro, have won 17 Gillies Shields each. So bragging rights up for grabs today. And is it fair to say, Fiona, no love lost between these two states?
Absolutely not. Everybody's got skin in the game. And that was a close one again at 105 clicks. That would hurt if it connects. But no, certainly these girls are going to leave nothing in the tank to win this game.
Jade Wall assessing her options. KAIA Parnaby waiting for the signal. Little nod of the head. Winds up and away she goes. And Wall straight through to Lack at third base. To Miller out at first. So the first one down for the Heat. Bottom of the second inning, but they have had a terrific start to this game as Kate Stearns steps to the plate. Great start, Parnaby. No doubt KAIA Parnaby will be being watched very closely by the national selectors here. Has been a part of that Aussie team before. Stearns with a foul ball, steps away, has a look. Parnaby again.
2 strikes.
Looking for the signal. Has Stearns on 2 strikes and just outside.
Really nice pitch that. I mean, she just tried to leave it on the outside of the plate, have the batter chase it. Now she comes back up and inside and gets her out.
That's smart catching by TAYLAH TSITSIKRONIS.
You got a crystal ball there, Michael.
Yeah.
You saw exactly what was coming, and it did. 2 down for the Heat, and Janice Blackman comes in. Can Parnaby finish this one early?
The real secret here to pitching, of course, is all about location. I mean, movement's important and pace is important, but if you can hit your spots and move the ball around in the strike zone, and that's what they're looking to do. You know, you'll see them pitch up. They don't mind if they miss up and close to the batter, and then the trick is to have great location down in the bottom of the strike zone. And so far, both pitchers have really done that.
And New South Wales, the FIRESTARS, do have some very, very talented pitchers at their disposal, don't they?
They do. They've got a lot of strength that's sitting on the bench. KAIA Parnaby, though, is doing a fabulous job on the mound here. Off to Japan after this series to play with one of the teams over in the Japanese league.
I think that's an amazing thing about women's softball in Australia. A lot of these players are very well known internationally, aren't they? Plying their trade many areas around the world. Parnaby just one of them. There's another ball. Janice Blackman trying to extend Queensland's lead. Has the full count. And there's a foul ball. So plenty of action early in this game, and don't the crowd love it. Good to see colour across the face. Or faces of many people sitting in the stands. They've got some voice. They know how important this game is to these two teams. And on that, Janice Blackman gets the walk to first. And that'll bring Melinda Weaver back out to bat for the second time. Straight onto it. And straight to Lack to first, and there's the third out. Bottom of the second. Queensland lead this one by 2 runs to 0. Let's take a break.
On Fox Sports, you're watching the Australian Open Women's Softball Championship from Blacktown International Sports Park. Our coverage presented by Softball Australia, the Australian Sports Commission and Softball BatterUp. Step up to the plate, visit softballbatterup.com.au.
Welcome back to Blacktown International Sports Park. Highlights of the 2014 Women's Softball National Championships. Let's move forward now to the bottom of the third. No change to the score. Queensland leading it 2-0. Parnaby back up and pitching, and Carmelle Sorensen at bat for the Heat.
Play ball.
Parnaby, great start. She's looked good early, KAIA Parnaby. Queensland through Stacey Webber, scoring 2 in the first though. So New South Wales chasing tail early in this game.
And it's always critical to see how a pitcher comes back after a home run. It's really tests their strength of character and how much grit and fight they've got in them. And Kai has done very, very well to come back after that early home run.
And I don't mean to bring it up, Fiona. Here's a shot of the dugout for Queensland. But I think you went with a 4-0 tip today, didn't you?
I did. I did, although I'd like to revise that and say that, look, I think this is shaping up to be a really, really close one. And what's fantastic for the crowd here today is there is so much bat on ball. I mean, these girls are throwing 100 Ks plus, and these batters are still managing, to make a game of it. And it's really entertaining softball.
I think people forget that, Michael. You're staring down a ball coming, and it's not a big distance, coming at you at more than 100 kilometres an hour.
Yeah, it can be a pretty frightening experience, to be honest, when you're out there and, it's on top of you before you know it. The sort of reflexes you need to have and the anticipation. And it just comes from years and years of doing it. You get your timing right. It's all about when you take your step, when you release your hands and swinging through the strike zone. And you really pick up the ball quite early. The sooner you can see it out of the pitcher's hand, then the more chance you've got. So even though it can be intimidating and it really does get on you quickly, the best players, are really tuned in to being able to hit the ball.
Well, speaking of the best players, better that Jodie Bowering is staring this down than myself, because she's got plenty of talent and experience. Sorensen, the first out for Queensland, and Bowering at bat now. In this event, 14 runs and 20 RBIs for Jodie Bowering. And bat on ball again. She's found a gap. POBJIE out there picking it up at right field. And Bowering hits a single there. So good start here for Queensland.
Solid effort there by Stacey McManus at second base, but just unable to knock that ball down.
And have a look who it brings back to the plate. Stacey Webber, the hero so far in this game. A cracking hit in the first inning. Parnaby knows the situation here. She's seen far too much of Webber for her liking already. What can Webber do on this occasion? In fact, one person that Stacey Webber would work a lot with is Queensland assistant coach, battery coach Joyce Lester. Here she is.
Yeah, thanks, guys. We're in the dugout now with a battery coach for the Queensland Heat and former Australian captain Joyce Lester. Joyce, it's been a nice little start from you guys.
Oh, it's absolutely fantastic. Last 2 times we played New South Wales, they beat us with 1 hit, and we've come back at them the same way with a home run. Fantastic.
Now, you are in charge of the battery team. How have you found Holden throwing to Bowering early on?
She's containing them. She's still probably not at her best, but every innings she's getting a little bit better. Really hard. They've got some great hitters in New South Wales. She started great. Both of our pitchers have been really on form this tournament.
What a pleasure it is to see Drury catching up with Joyce Lester, arguably one of the most well-known, if not the most well-known, softballers in Australia.
And certainly one of the characters of the game. So it's fantastic that she's still a part and she's imparting all the knowledge back on the players of today.
Webber still at bat here, and we're just starting to notice a change in the way they're pitching to Webber, Michael.
Yeah, as we were saying before, it's all about location, and they really have taken a completely different approach. And they've thrown us 7 pitches, 6 of them have been outside. The location's been really good for pretty much all of them. They just miss away there. But what that does is, I mean, it shows her the respect from the first at-bat. The other thing it does, it sets her up for later in the game, because she's now thinking they're going to stay away the whole time. So whereas they got burnt by pitching inside to her earlier in the game, they might be able to come back inside in a crucial situation later.
And another big chance for Queensland here, because Webber's on first, Bowering on second, ERIN, THRAS at bat for the Heat. Great venue here at Blacktown, of course, the home of the Olympics. And there's a double play, is it? It is. So well done to wrap that one up, New South Wales. Stacey Porter right in the thick of the action.
Tremendous play there by Rachel Lack, fielding the ball, rocking back off the base and firing over to first base to get that double play.
And maybe that'll pep the Fire Stars up as they return now, moving forward to the top of the 5th. No additional score in the 4th. And ASHLEE POBJIE is at bat. Yeah, the venue here, of course, it's a wonderful venue, and New South Wales softball have done a terrific job. Kathy Kerr and her team have put on quite a show, haven't they?
Kathy Kerr is really the backbone of softball in New South Wales, and she does an extraordinary amount of work to make events like this happen. And it certainly would not be the case if she was not involved. So a huge shout out to Kathy.
Speakman to Webber on that occasion, and POBJIE is out at first. And it brings Stacey Porter back in, and straight away bat on ball high to centre field. And what a great catch by Jade Wall.
She got a great pitch to hit then and just leant back. You'll see her just leaning back and getting slightly under it. It was a pretty good pitch. She just about got her arms extended, and that was lucky for Queensland. I think they dodged a bullet there.
Well done, Jade Wall. The outstretched left arm. And it brings McManus into bat.
Critical here that the Fire Stars remain patient. As Danica Howlett indicated earlier, it is a 7 innings game, so they really need to be patient here. Even though there's 2 out, as we've seen earlier, 1 hit can really change a ball game. So critical that McManus has a good turn at bat in the box here.
Done a terrific job so far, Sandra Holden. Big swing and a miss there by McManus.
That was a change-up. They just took a little bit of pace off the pitch and just messed up with the timing and swung through on the pitch.
McManus looks eager here. She looks keen. And she gets bat on ball, and it's safe. A single there for Stacey McManus, and she'll sit herself at first. It brings Rachel Lack into bat. We've spoken a little bit about Rachel. Outstanding young player.
Attempt to pick off there at first base keeps McManus on her toes. This is a critical turn at bat here for Rachel Lack. She's got to be patient and make sure she gets the right pitch to hit.
Again, a good eye on that one. Just swinging away for Holden. Looks very calm, doesn't she, Rachel Lack? You wouldn't think it was the grand final, would you?
As I said, I've certainly noticed that with all the young crop of players that are coming through. They've really got a true sense of maturity about them and a real respect for the game, which is really pleasing to see.
And the Fire Stars have a number of those young guns in their lineup. Lack, good ball, grounded. Oh, error there. And that will get McManus through to second and Lack to first. So a real chance here for the Fire Stars to try and get on the board. Queensland with a great start. TAYLAH TSITSIKRONIS at bat. A swing and a miss to start. She knows what's at stake here. And she knows that she has a couple of teammates on base. That one just away.
Taylor's got a tremendous amount of raw talent and raw strength, but certainly in the last 12 months she's really matured to a solid player.
And she's got that one through. TSITSIKRONIS, great work, and McManus is home. New South Wales FIRESTARS up and going. The crowd are happy. Well done, TSITSIKRONIS. Let's have a look at it again.
Really turns hard on that pitch, fires it down third baseline. TSITSIKRONIS has done that over and over again this series, and it shows that real maturity that she's got, the patience, turning hard on that ball.
And that's exactly what the FIRESTARS need. Terrific effort by TAYLAH TSITSIKRONIS. And McManus home for the first. It's 2-1 Queensland, and all of a sudden, we may see momentum starting to swing here, Michael.
Yeah, New South Wales are starting to look really good. They seem like they're having better swings than this is one, but straight to the second base.
Miller out at first, and that'll be the change in inning, but all of a sudden, the FIRESTARS are breathing new life into this game, and they've made a change on the pitcher's mound.
Stepping up is Ellen Roberts. Great young pitcher. Will be keen to make a really solid start here in the bottom of the fifth.
Janice Blackman, and she has made a good start, Ellen Roberts. A strike first up.
Foul ball.
Blackman with the foul. You heard the call there. Janice Blackman actually has a really interesting batting style. She really steps into it, doesn't she? There it is again, almost taking two small steps.
Yeah, she's looking to come forward and just try and make contact. Get a bit of a running start out of the left-hander's batter's box, and if she can just drop the ball down on the ground, she's got a better than even chance of getting to first base, even on a hit in the infield.
Let's see what she can do on this occasion. Roberts winding up and just gets it over Stacey Porter, and that'll get her safe on first. So good call there, Michael. That's exactly what she was looking to do. And the Heat have Blackman on first, which brings Melinda Weaver back up to bat. And a little bunt. She sacrificed the bunt there. She's out at first, but Blackman is safe on second. Well worked out there by the Queensland Heat. We now have Sorensen up. So Queensland looking to respond here.
Yeah, I mean, this is really where the clear demonstration of how much a team game it is. It's not about one person. It's about moving runners around. It's about being patient. It's about making good decisions in the batter's box. And Queensland, doing that again in this inning. They've got a runner where they want it second with one out, and a real opportunity.
And Fiona, is that something that the teams pre-planned for? Scenarios like this in a game where they talk about the sacrificial bunt and the things that they need to do to get their players on base?
Yep, absolutely. And in particular in this situation, CARMELLE will certainly be looking for an inside pitch to drive the ball to either first base or second base, to move that runner at second base over to third to get them in a better position to score.
Foul ball.
Foul ball. Let's see if Sorensen can do exactly that. Here's Roberts. And very, very good. Roberts straight down the alley. Sorensen's gone. And that'll bring Jodie Bowering back up to the plate. And you just sense that Alan Roberts is starting to get in the groove here.
Yes, that was a pretty impressive pitching sequence there to get that strikeout. And there's only been a few strikeouts in the game. I mean, it really has been a game of contact. And, to be able to sit somebody down at this point in the game is pretty critical. So New South Wales look like they've got this under control, but there's still a runner at second and two out.
And again, Alan Roberts with the strike. An exceptional player, Jodie Bowering. But I'll tell you what, Alan Roberts is equal to the challenge right now.
And that's a key ability a relief pitcher needs to have. They don't have the luxury of easing themselves into the game. Ellen has come in the bottom of the fifth, and she needs to be firing from pitch one, which she's done.
Just away on that occasion. Very, very close. Bowering, 1 ball, 2 strikes. 2 outs. And Bowring's got onto that one. POBJIE coming across and takes it safely. So that's the end of the 5th inning. Queensland leading it 2-1 as Bianca Abrahams comes into the game for the first time, replacing BREE BROOKER, and she will get things underway for the FIRESTARS. And we've got a pitching change here for the Heat.
Yeah, Joss McCallum's come in relief. Joss has got, as we just see there, a tremendous rise ball. That's certainly the key strength of Joss. Another key ability that Joss has got is the ability to vary the rhythm of the game. She takes her time to get set at varying times, so the batter's really guessing as to when she's going to start her wind-up, and it can be a little unsettling if you're not used to it.
Must be one of the tallest players in Australia too, Joss McCallum. Winds up again. Bat on ball by Abrahams, and this should be an easy out. It is Melinda Weaver taking the catch.
And with that rise ball, Abrahams was very much on the back foot and had her weight back, and you're effectively hitting across the plane of the ball, and it tends to lead to a lot of fly balls like that in the infield. So the critical thing here is really to get weight forward, get on the front foot, and get the ball as it's starting to come up and drive it hard.
Let's cross down to Drury Forbes.
Yeah, thanks, guys, and a big thank you for his time. It's Queensland Heat coach Fabian Barlow, of course, former national coach as well. Fabian, now at the top of the 6th. This is the serious part of the match. 2 innings to go. You're up 2-1, so how are you feeling?
Yeah, look, we've just made a pitching change. We've brought in Joss McCallum, who's got a good history of being able to close out games in these sorts of situations. Look, we got off to a good start. We'd like to think we could have put another run or 2 on the board, but we haven't. But, you know, if we can shut them down and maybe scramble a run in the inning we've got left to hit, then hopefully it works our way.
Thanks very much, Drury, down there with Fabian Barlow. Very calm at the moment, Fabian. I guess you are when you've got the lead.
I think he is projecting a very, very calm image, is what he and it's what he's supposed to do as a coach. But I think there would certainly be a few butterflies with Fabian at the moment.
I think amongst the entire crowd here at Blacktown, there's a few butterflies at the moment. McCallum gives the nod, knows what to do, winds up to Roberts, and it's a strike. That's the end of Alan Roberts. 2 up and 2 down at the moment. And we've got Jess Meyer stepping up here. So she's come in for Sam Poole. New South Wales, Michael, changing things up.
Yeah, I think what they're really trying to do is, you know, just give some new players a chance, change the lineup a little bit. We're very late in the game, and they can't afford to just sit back and let the same players, you know, go through the batting order. So they're obviously looking to try and tactically order the game and see if they can at least tie the score.
And she's no stranger, Fiona. 10 runs at this event so far, on base at 524, has represented Australia at junior level.
Yeah, Jessie's a really solid player. Unfortunately, as you can see there from the taping on her left leg, she did sustain an injury, but certainly not enough to keep her out of a pinch hit in the final.
Swing and a miss. So 2 strikes, 2 outs here, top of the 6th. New South Wales still trailing by 1. We might be in for a nail-biting finish here. Searching for the next Gillies Shield winner. McCallum. Yes, perfect. There it is. 3 strikes. New South Wales are done. Queensland to step up in the 6th inning. Let's take a quick break.
You're watching the Australian Open Women's Softball Championship on Fox Sports. With thanks to Softball Australia, the Australian Sports Commission and Softball BatterUp. Step up to the plate, go to softballbatterup.com.au.
Welcome back to Blacktown International Sports Park. You're watching the highlights of the 2014 Women's Softball National Championships. And right now, Queensland in the bottom of the 6th lead this one 2-1. Stacey Weber back in action. Was fantastic with a huge home run in the first to give Queensland their 2 runs. And Alan Roberts is trying to get the first out of this inning. Great to see so many people here at Blacktown today. Plenty of young fans around too, enjoying their softball. And obviously, many future softballers amongst them. Dual Olympian Fiona Crawford, no doubt started somewhere in her junior career. Where do softballers start today?
I started playing when I was 5. I literally just followed my 2 sisters, and I think the beauty of softball is that, you know, you really just need a bat and a ball, a couple of squares that can fashion as bases, and you're on your way. But there's certainly that the BATTERUP program is a tremendous program that Softball Australia has got. So if anybody is interested in playing, certainly contact your local softball association or Softball Australia themselves, and they'll be able to point you in the right direction.
And it certainly served you well, the sport, travelling all over the world, of course, with the Aussie spirit. Stacey Weber.
2-2.
Just getting the count,
2 balls, 2 strikes.
knowing where she's at. What a great battle here between Roberts and Weber. Weber gets a piece of that one. We're starting to get to the stage here where nerves set in, Michael, if they aren't there already, but we are getting to the business end of this game.
Yeah, it's really critical. I mean, New South Wales need to remain focused here while they're in the field. They've got to make sure they get out of this inning without Queensland scoring again, because they've got one more shot in the top of the 7th.
Weber getting a piece of it again.
Queensland would be eager to get a buffer run there, just a bit of a safety net. As we've seen, all it takes is one hit, so they would be really keen to get at least one run to give themselves a bit of a buffer going into the 7th.
Weber onto it, and again she goes back to where she scored earlier, and on this occasion she's caught out at left field. I think that's BREE Brooker back into the action. So Weber departs, and that brings ERIN THRAS back to bat. She hit a home run in the final that got them through to this game, so she's no stranger to putting it over the fence, is she?
She's certainly got a hot bat at the moment. Went after that first pitch, though, probably not the best pitch she could have hit.
You know, I think at the moment, you know, Queensland really ought to demonstrate some patience and just let them throw as many pitches as they can, just draw this out a little bit and really wait for the right pitch and the right contact. So probably a bit of a waste of that bat that time.
Tara Speakman having an early look at Alan Roberts. And we should say that New South Wales are doing the chasing here at the moment. They know they're going to get one more chance at bat, at least one more chance, depending on what happens there. Speakman steps away from that. What are they looking to do here?
Well, I think Queensland really are in a position where they can afford to be patient. I think New South Wales need to be quite aggressive. I think they need to come straight after the hitters. They need to get themselves off the field right now as fast as they possibly can. So there's no need for New South Wales to be nervous about Queensland. They should go straight after them. Queensland, as you can see, the batters are now starting to take more pitches, which is the right thing to do, and just draw this out a little bit as it gets close to the end and really raise the nerves for New South Wales. So the teams ought to be looking at this game right now from completely different perspectives.
Well, their nerves are up, and certainly my nerves are up at the moment. This could go any way from here.
This is a really solid turn in the box by Speakman.
She's got her teammates in the background just looking over her shoulder at the moment. They're on edge as well. Here's Roberts, and Speakman gets a piece of it. It's a foul ball. The pressure is mounting. Will be very interesting in the last innings to see if any teams make significant changes to their lineup, whether it's out in the field, whether it's at bat. Here's Roberts, plenty of pressure, and again, nice big chunk of it, Speakman. She's got her eye in here. Once again, bat on ball.
This is a great battle of wills right here. bottom of the 6th, final of the Gillies Shield.
Well, just when you talk about trying to get them in and out as quick as you possibly can, Tara Speakman has had a very good look here. Can she do something with it? Well, in fact, she'll be walked. Gets herself on base, and that is very important for Queensland right now as Jade Wall steps up.
That was a seriously good turn at bat. Just fouling off the pitches up in the strike zone, then having the discipline to lay off the one that was just low. It only just missed. It was a pretty good pitch, but it was the right call. And now Queensland have got a runner at first base, and the inning continues, which really suits them in this situation.
And we've mentioned it a couple of times. Ellen Roberts has been very good today. She's a very young player learning her craft. Plenty of pressure in such a big game right now.
Yep, she really needs to get this out, though. Queensland will be keen to put their foot on the jugular here and score some more runs.
Tara Speakman on first, Jade Wall at bat. And there's another ball. You can feel the temperature rising. 31 degrees for the crowd today. I think it's a bit warmer down on the diamond right now. Roberts inside. And all of a sudden, 1 strike, 3 balls, or 3 balls, 1 strike. And, gee, I tell you what, there's a fair bit riding on this right now. Queensland have the edge. Right down the middle. A swing and a miss, and we've got a full count. This is what it all comes down to. The pressure of a final. And it's there for both teams. Roberts. Wall. Gets a piece of it. And have a look at that. Tara Speakman, she's ready to go.
With full count and 2 outs, she's going on the pitch. These Queenslanders are playing like they are in the lead. For the first time in this match, I think they're really taking control of this game.
Jade Wall again. And again, she gets a good crack of it. And again, it's a foul ball. And she's got her eye in here, Michael. She looks very determined. Look at that stare.
Yeah, there's a real sense of balance and discipline at the plate, and that was a pretty good result for Queensland. I think the ball's a little bit too much inside to hit it down the line, so just fouling it off has worked out pretty well.
And she's got a piece of it again. And once more, couldn't keep it in the field of play. Look at her teammates hanging off the fence in the background there. There's just a bit of a quiet murmur at the moment, isn't there? There's Speakman on first. She's ready to move. She wants to move. Ellen Roberts. So much pressure on her young shoulders. Jade Wall. And she steps away from that, and she'll get walked to first, which means Speakman is on second.
That is outstanding discipline in the plate. I mean, the adrenaline would be surging at the moment, and to be able to keep that in check and not swing at that pitch that she had been swinging at and fouling off shows real maturity.
And Alan Roberts has returned fire there straight away to Kate Stearns. First pitch is a strike.
Yeah, it was a fantastic piece of hitting because she'd really been set up looking at inside pitches, and it's very hard to stay away from her when you get another one.
And the second. Wow. Alan Roberts has taken this challenge on board. There's 2 on base. Kate Stearns at bat. 2 pitches, 2 strikes. Important time for Alan Roberts. Can she answer? Yes, she can. Swing and a miss. And Alan Roberts has put that one to bed. So much pressure, so much at stake. And New South Wales step up in the 7th inning, and there's a change here. Michelle Cox is into bat.
Yeah, interesting decision by Coach Kerry Porter to put Michelle Cox in. She's been playing overseas but has been injured for the last couple of games. So Coach Porter obviously opting to go for a fresh set of eyes coming in here.
As you said, hasn't played a lot here through injury, but so far when she has stepped up, she's got an on-base average of 654.
She has certainly got a set of wheels, and those infielders would be acutely aware of just how quick Michelle Cox would be, looking to put the ball into play.
We should mention also 11 runs from just 17 at-bats in this tournament. So, yep, she can score. Of course, she won a bronze medal at the 2012 World Champs with the Aussie Spirit. Loads of experience, and it's all being called upon right now. Joss McCallum. Pressure's now on her.
Queensland Heat would be very keen to get Michelle Cox out, knowing that Stacey Porter is in the on-deck circle. They do not want to have a runner on first base or second with Porter up to the plate.
Well, it's a simple equation, isn't it? Queensland get 3 out here. They've won the title. They've won the national championship. And Michelle Cox gets bat on ball there, walks away, has a think about it, and she'll step straight back up. It's a 2-2 count.
The situation really is here for New South Wales. McCullum's throwing a lot of rise balls that are up out of the strike zone, and in previous innings they were swinging at them. So far, the first 4 pitches, the 2 rise balls were left and the 2 pitches down in the zone were hit. So New South Wales need to be aggressive, but they need to be aggressive at the right pitches. If they can lay off the rise ball up out of the strike zone, they've got a real show here.
McCallum to Cox and gets onto it, and it's safe. This will be close. Oh, she might be safe. She is. Michelle Cox is safe at first. And look at them go crazy down there in the dugout.
There were no signs of that hip injury that's plagued Michelle Cox the last few games. Just like the grit and determination to make it to first base brings Stacey Porter to the plate.
Well, how are they going to deal with Stacey Porter? Because she is an absolute superstar.
Interesting that Coach Fabian Barlow has opted not to intentionally walk Stacey. Stacey has struggled a little bit facing Joss McCallum in the past, so good to see he's backing his pitcher.
And there's a ball first up.
Oh, she looks,
shake of the head, yep.
She looks in the zone, Stacey.
Well, we know her credentials. She's a superstar of the game, captain of the Aussie Spirit, and it's all on her shoulders right now as the Fire Stars look to keep themselves in the game. And look at that! It's away! Going! It's gone! Stacey Porter!
Goodness!
Wow! Have a look at that. Stacey Porter points to the crowd, and the fans have gone crazy. The whole team's come out, and they've just scored 2 to take the lead for the first time in the game. Unbelievable. Stacey Porter.
That is an outstanding piece of hitting, and it shouldn't really be any surprise. She is one of the greatest players that has ever played the game. You know, players dream about being in a situation like that, and very rarely do you get the chance to deliver on it, and Stacey Porter steps up to the plate and delivers.
And it sails over the fence. Jade Wall, no chance. What a turn of events in this game. Amazing stuff. Stacey Porter. Let's go straight down to Drury Forbes with the champ.
Well, Stacey Porter, top of the 7th. You've just put New South Wales in the lead in the grand final. Wow.
Yeah, I'm still excited. I can't believe that just happened, but it's only the top of the 7th. There's still the bottom of the 7th to go, so we sort of need to stay composed and get through 3 more outs. We know how tough they are, and they're not going to lie down, so we'll just stay focused on the defensive inning now, I think.
Well, there she is, the champ, Stacey Porter. Spoken like a true professional too. She knows it's not over, but I tell you what, she has got her team into a perfect situation, and in fact it might get better as McManus goes long past Blackman out at left field, and she'll get to second. Look at the fist pumps. She is up and going, Stacey McManus. Look at her teammates.
And that's exactly the follow-up that the Fire Stars wanted.
This game has turned on its head, so much so that Queensland have had to make a change, Michael.
Yeah, McCullum really started in the first inning. She pitched with a lot of rise balls and they got chased. And then as soon as they started to lay off them in the last inning, she went away from them, which might have been a bit of a risk because clearly it is her best pitch. The batters were going to be nervous. She could really have stayed with a lot more rise balls. And now we've got Holden.
Yeah, and there's the sacrifice bunt, and she'll go out at first, but McManus is on third. What an innings for New South Wales. What a way for them to play in the 7th.
And bringing to the plate TSITSIKRONIS. who has had an outstanding series so far. 31 RBIs with McManus on third base. Can she deliver again?
Well, that's her whole focus here, isn't it, Taylor TSITSIKRONIS? She's just looking to get McManus home. 3-2, the FIRESTARS lead. Queensland shell-shocked right now. Having to make changes. And it's Stacey Porter. More than 300 games for the national team. She has turned this final on its ear. Oh, just lobbed up there off the bump. That'll be out, and it is.
That's attempted squeeze play there. Taylor TSITSIKRONIS looking to put the ball down into play with McManus charging home on the pitch. Lucky she put the brakes on and was able to get back to third base in time.
Well, not that long ago, all of Queensland down in the dugout were jumping all over the fence. They were hanging off the fence. Now, it's New South Wales. They've found some voice. Monique Miller at bat. McManus on third. Low and away.
And this is a really tough situation for Sandra Holden to come back into the game. It's mentally challenging to start a game, come off, and then come back and relieve and close this game out in the bottom of the seventh.
2 out. McManus on third. Holden, deep breath. And just outside. 2-1 count. The pressure's building all the time.
It seemed like just a couple of minutes ago, you know, Queensland would have been counting the outs and just needed 3 more, and it was just about over, and they had it under control, and now it's just turned amazingly.
Miller onto it. Centre field. And well taken by Jade Wall. She's been very busy out there today. So that brings a close to New South Wales innings. They've taken the lead. Believe it or not, they're now 3-2 up, courtesy of the champ. I keep calling her the champ, but that's exactly what she is. Stacey Porter has put New South Wales within a pinch of winning their 18th Gillies Shield, and they're just 3 outs away from doing so, and it's right now with Alan Roberts. What can she do from the mound? One lady that had to step up from the mound to close it out for Queensland, of course, was Sandra Holden. Drury Forbes has Sandra with him right now.
Yeah, thanks, guys. We're here down the dugout with Sandy Holden. Sandy, you started pitching, you've just come back on. They've got the lead. This is a massive session coming up now.
It is, yeah. This is our chance right now. It's do or die, so.
Going to take it?
Yeah, absolutely. Right to the death, always.
And your own pitching performance today?
Oh, pleased, but it's all about the whole team, and we've got to do it all together. It's 17 of us, and it takes every single one of us every game. So I'm backing the girls to get it done here.
And the talk's been great within the Heat dugout this afternoon.
Absolutely. You probably can't hear us half the time when you're doing your interviews. It's so loud in here.
Oh, we can hear you, Sandy. We can hear you. Thanks very much for your time.
Cool. Thanks very much.
Well, all the pressure, thanks, Drury, all the pressure right now is on Queensland. Janice Blackman at bat, and this might be the first out. It is, so that pressure now builds. 2 outs away, New South Wales. Who would have thought? Who would have thought?
That was a critical out for the FIRESTARS to get. Blackman's got some wheels. They did not want her getting on base.
And I just think that with Stacey Porter and her heroics in that 7th inning, there's a pep in the step of Alan Roberts right now, isn't there?
Yeah, there really is. She's starting to throw her best pitches again, and she's going straight into the strike zone. There's not a time to mess around and, you know, try and clip the corners and things. She needs to attack from the mound, and she's definitely doing that.
And she's pitching to a very experienced player in Melinda Weaver. She's seen all of this plus more before. It's a 2-1 count, 1 out. Queensland are now chasing. They need to score 1 minimum to tie this up and send it into a tiebreaker inning as Weaver gets a good chunk of it.
Melinda Weaver's certainly not going to die wondering. Coming into this game with an on-base average of 5.83. Capable of getting on base.
And again, gets bat on ball. Look at her teammates. Gripped to this game. 2-2 count, 1 out. Alan Roberts, the youngster from the FIRESTARS. And that is just millimetres away. A full count right now. Will they walk her or will they go for the strike? Swing and a miss. There it is. So 2 out, and New South Wales are just 1 out away.
I'm struggling to keep my emotions in check here in the commentary box. So my heart goes out to Ellen Roberts, but she's certainly pitching her heart out here in the bottom of the 7th to try and get New South Wales this win.
Well, CARMELLE Sorensen, it's been a bit of a mixed bag for her today. She's hit a single, she's got across home plate with a run, and she's been struck out twice.
And now the critical at-bat with 2 out in the bottom of the 7th.
Swing and a miss. 1 strike away. Just 1 more strike for the FIRESTARS, and they will be crowned national champions. Roberts, Sorensen, and she's connected, but it's a foul ball. It all comes down to this. I'm sweating. This is amazing. What a finish. Roberts taking it in her stride. And it's a hit. And it's safe. It's going out to centre field. And Sorensen is safe on first. Queensland survive.
It's ironic. It's pretty much a mirror image of what New South Wales had. Runner on first base, their captain stepping into the box in JODIE Bowering. Again, if there is a player that's capable of winning a ball game with a home run, it's certainly JODIE Bowering.
Strike to start it off with. And JODIE Bowering was the best batter, crowned the best batter at this competition last year. So for Queensland, there is nobody better to be trying to keep them in the game, even win the game from here, than JODIE Bowering. Oh, great work, Alan Roberts. 2 pitches, 2 strikes. And all of a sudden, again, we are 1 strike away.
Oh, that was close.
Very close.
I think I would have had a swing at that one. Composed JODIE Bowering all the way to the end.
Oh, she saw it the whole way, didn't she? The FIRESTARS need a strike. The Heat need a run. Bowering at bat. Alan Roberts on the mound. It all comes down to this.
Oh my.
There it is. Victory for the FIRESTARS. A swing and a miss and total elation. They have got the win from nowhere. Stacey Porter's heroics. Alan Roberts pitching out the last. What an amazing victory for the New South Wales FIRESTARS, and that is Gilly Shield number 18. What a magnificent game.
That was just a gutsy effort. That was world-class softball at its best. It simply does not get any better. Players stepping up to the plate when the pressure was on, just simply outstanding. Stacey Porter, I said at the outset she was a game changer, and she stood true to form.
Well, she was, and the other game changer, no doubt, was Alan Roberts. Here she is, elated with Drury.
Well, designated player today, but she played a huge role in the result. Ellen Roberts. Ellen, you pitched New South Wales back in that contest. You were ruthless.
Thank you. Yeah, it was a fun game and we came out with the win and we're all so happy.
And just to see the real grit on your face, you never ever gave in there, and you're just relentless, really making the Queensland batters think twice about where each ball was going to go.
Yeah, that's what me and Taylor went out there to do. We've scouted them hard all weekend. We had a few games played against them throughout the weekend. We just learnt from that and came out today and tried to stick to the plan and just try and keep the ball going past them and fool them, and it's worked for us today. So.
And I understand you're over in America at college, so what's it like for you to come back here and win the Gillies Shield with these group of players?
I love playing over there in the States, but there's nothing like coming home and playing with my home team and in front of the home crowd. It's just nothing better.
Well, how delighted is Alan Roberts, and how pleased are the fans. The FIRESTARS 3-2 winners over the Heat. Roberts is up, but no doubt Melinda Weaver won't be.
We're here with Queensland Heat star Melinda Weaver. Melinda, not the result you're looking for. If I was to ask you what the contributing factors as to where it went wrong, what would you say?
I think you could pinpoint it to the world's best hitter hitting a home run with a runner on. Definitely gave them momentum and took it away from us.
You'd know her all too well being part of the Australian team. You've won Gilly Shields before. You've been on the unfortunate end. 2-1 up, you must have been reasonably confident of victory.
You're never confident until the last innings, particularly when you've got Porter up. They've got some good hitters, not just Stace. So you're never confident until those 3 outs, and unfortunately we couldn't get there today.
Melinda, thank you very much for your time, and unlucky this time.
Thank you.
Well, what a game. That says it all with Melinda Weaver. Fiona and Michael, thanks very much. What a finish.
Yeah, unbelievable. World-class players playing a world-class sport, and that's the sort of game you get and the sort of result you get.
I'm still gobsmacked. I think it was an outstanding effort by all players, and just softball, true to form, put on such a show for the crowd today.
Yep, what a big win for softball here in Australia. A 3-2 win to the FIRESTARS. They're elated. What a great day. Fantastic event. Hope you've enjoyed it. The New South Wales FIRESTARS.
You've been watching the Australian Open Women's Softball Championship from Blacktown International Sports Park. Our exclusive coverage presented by Softball Australia, the Australian Sports Commission, and Softball Batter Up. Step up to the plate. Visit softballbatterup.com.au.